ready. One more free throw, and then 3.6 seconds left. Hayward with a rebound, 2 seconds. Hayward with 1 second. Half-court heat for three. It's off the rim, and it's over in Indy. Duke is back atop college basketball's elite. They are your national champions.
Well, every college basketball fan is going to remember that national championship game forever, and these two same programs meet again today. Here at the Izod Center at East Rutherford, the #1 and undefeated Duke Blue Devils take on the Butler Bulldogs here this afternoon. Welcome to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. It is Butler and #1 Duke here in New Jersey. Duke always comes up to New York and New Jersey to play a big game. They got so many fans in this part of the country. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis with you. I know last year you thought these two teams were very similar, and that played out of the national championship game, but a lot of differences in them now this year.
Yeah, they're much different teams, and they want to take advantage of the advantage they feel like they have. Duke feels like it's bigger, a little bit more athletic, so they want to get up and down the court, and they want to dominate inside and dominate the backboards. And Brad Stevens of Butler is talking to his team about their advantage. They know they're smaller. They're embracing the fact that they're smaller, and he wants them to get low and use their leverage and take advantage of what they think is an advantage.
Let's focus now as we look at the Star Watch on a guy who wasn't even a part of one of these programs during the national championship game last year, but Kyrie Irving's been one of the best players in the country so far.
Well, Kyrie Irving is proving to be a special point guard. He can score, he can dish the ball, he plays at different speeds, and you cannot speed him up. And Ronald Norad of Butler is one of the best individual on-ball defenders in the country. He may be the best. I think he is the heart and soul of this Butler team. They need him and need him to play well on Irving in order to win this game.
As you can see, just back from a concussion, missed almost 3 full games after that injury. And Doris, numbers don't tell the story of how valuable Norad is to the Bulldogs.
Well, that's exactly right. Because he's not a gifted scorer, it is very hard to quantify this guy's impact with his defensive abilities. It's probably harder to quantify, Dan, exactly what his presence means to his Butler teammates. But it was so important that in the last game out against Loyola, though he would not play a minute because of those concussive symptoms, Brad Stevens thought it important enough that he dress and go through warm-ups because his mere presence changes the countenance and confidence level of the guys around him. I can't wait to watch him check Kyrie Irving, guys.
Going to be a great matchup of the point guard spot today as we now bring you tonight's starting lineups brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts. And yes, Norad is back at the point. Shelvin back, preseason Horizon League Player of the Year. Zach Hahn, a 3-guard lineup for the Bulldogs. Matt Howard and a big Andrew Smith, 6'11", 240 in the middle. For Duke, Irving starts at the point, fresh off the 31-point game against Michigan State. Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, Ryan Kelly, and Mason Plumlee, who has taken his game to another level now in this, his sophomore season. So as you well know, this is a rematch of the national championship game between Duke and Butler from last April. It's the 11th time in the last 20 years that two teams who have met in the national championship game have played the next year. And the champs lead 7-3. We'll see if that trend holds up. Certainly Duke is off to a great start this year. They are #1. They are 7-0. And they have been terrorizing people for the most part. They have had some close games against Marquette, against Michigan State. As you saw our officials today, Brian Kersey, Les Jones, Brian Dorsey, and we are underway here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Duke in home white, and it's fitting because just about everybody in this building seems to be a Blue Devils fan.
Butler starting out in man-to-man. You can see it's more of a containment man-to-man defense, and Zach Hahn, much smaller, is guarding Kyle Singler.
A 6'3" guard checking a 6'8" forward. Plumlee bulls his way in, a little strong off the rim. And here come the Bulldogs.
How about how physical on those blockouts that Butler was right out of the gate. This Butler team looks like choir boys. They defend like a motorcycle gang.
And what they were really known for in their run through the national, through the NCAA tournament was their defense, holding everybody under 60 points except for Duke, who scored 61. A good start for Matt Howard as he knocks down the corner 3.
Duke likes to spread out teams and put guys in the corner to stretch your defense, but that time it was Butler that stretched.
Andrew Smith comes up with the loose ball. Butler is 4-2 on the season. They've lost at Louisville, and they lost to Evansville as well. They just picked up a narrow win over Loyola of Maryland their last time out, so they're not clicking on all cylinders right now. Howard the miss, Duke ball.
Matt Howard just spacing in the corner, guarded by Ryan Kelly, and Kelly gives just a little bit of help, just stunts toward the ball. Duke is giving up middle drives. So far, Butler has been able to get into the paint and are able to make things happen.
Big key, of course, for Butler. Can Howard stay on the floor? Everybody who watched the Bulldogs last year remembers the foul trouble that he got in time and time again.
But look how Norad stays right in front of Irving.
Smith for three.
That's going to be the challenge, Dan. It's that second pass. Duke not only makes the extra pass, oftentimes they make the right pass. For this team, the go-to guy has got to be the open man.
We talked about the matchup of Irving and Norad. The matchup of Nolan Smith and Shelvin Mack. That's no slouch at the two-guard spot.
Mack has been struggling shooting the ball over his last 3 games, only shooting about 30%.
Pulls up from the elbow and knocks it down. And by the way, Mack and Smith, more than just competitors here today, good buddies as well. Mack, Smith, and Singler were all part of the Team USA's select team that really was there for training purposes against the national team. So they were teammates for a couple of weeks in the summer.
You know, everybody for Butler is inside that three-point line.
Nolan Smith is outside that three-point line as he misses it. And the foul's going to go on Zach Hahn of the Bulldogs.
Well, Hahn was trying to get low and use his leverage. Just got a little bit too much hands on Kyle Singler. He's trying to box out by getting low. And watch him. He's getting low and right into the legs. And Les Jones, the official on the baseline, calling that foul on Zach Hahn, but he is really fighting down there.
And by the way, I may have given Hahn a little bit more credit height-wise than he deserved. He is listed at 6'1", and he'll be checking 6'8" Singler for much of the day as Andrew Smith is now called for the foul.
Just a little bit of a switch down low, and then Smith tried to get back to his man instead of staying with Kyle Singler. That was just way too easy.
34-year-old Brad Stevens, who parlayed that run to the national championship game into a 12-year extension with Butler. Obviously, they knew other programs would come after him, but he's got a long history as a coach at Butler. Started off at the bottom, worked his way up to the head coaching position. He didn't want to go anywhere else, and they love the stability that he brings to that position.
He started off as a volunteer assistant under Thad Matta. And because somebody had moved on because of an off-court issue, he had gotten a job as a waiter at Applebee's to try to make some money. He was just going through training, and Thad Matta informed him, you're going to be the director of basketball operations. So he could have been employee of the month at Applebee's. Instead, he's national coach of the year.
Howard turns it over. Irving the look ahead. And Mason Plumlee traveled.
Well, both these coaches looking at very different teams this year from last year.
Gordon Hayward drafted 9th overall by the Utah Jazz. So he's now in the NBA. Also Willie Beasley, another starter. Avery Jukes gone. John Shire, Brian Zubek, Lance Thomas gone from Duke's team last year as Smith lays it into the left-hander. With all the size that Duke has, Smith is a very important player. Great hustle, great save by Howard, and here come the Bulldogs.
Butler's just out fighting Duke.
Hahn will shoot it from anywhere, anytime. Unlimited range for number 3 in black.
Great split of the double.
And Shelvin Mack's off to a terrific start today, Jay.
Well, he has done a great job of coming off those ball screens. Duke is just defending those ball screens with 2 guys. All 5 guys have to defend ball screens.
Kelly, stolen again. Duke with 3 straight turnovers. Hahn wide open. And the offensive rebound out of bounds off Mack, back to Duke.
Butler has been tougher. They've been quicker to the ball. And look at this terrific save by Matt Howard. And here comes the screen. Mason Plumlee needs to stay connected. He's not connected to the man setting the screen. That allowed Shelvin Mack to split it, get right into the lane, and exploit the weak side defense and the help defense that Duke has.
Let's check in now with Doris.
Well, Jay, the first priority for Duke defensively against Shelvin Mack is handling him in the ball screens. They want to trap those and get it out of his hands. We'll see how effective they are at it.
And that's a great point, and that's why they have to have all 5 guys defending the ball screen instead of just 2. That means everybody's got to have their eyes on it. But if you're going to trap, they call it red. They use a color system to call out their traps. If they're going to red those, they've got to make sure they stay connected. You stay shoulder to shoulder. You can't let the ball handler split those traps.
Miles Miles Plumlee comes into the game for Duke, replacing his younger brother Mason. A couple of changes for Butler as well. Chase Stigall and Kyle Marshall both into the game. Marshall's a true freshman. Stigall, the kick out to North. Plenty of time. Howard. Desperation heave, and the foul on Ronald Norred. Didn't like the call. Neither did the small gathering of Butler fans here today. But the Bulldogs are up 4 early.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts. Great people, great products, great prices.
When you come to CarQuest, you'll find the quality parts you need and the service you deserve, along with the peace of mind that you've come to a place you can trust, where our people are happy to share their expertise to help you get it right. Whether you're a Saturday superstar or one of our many professional customers, when you deal with any of our 3,000 CarQuest stores, you'll discover an experience as exceptional as our products, plus the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. Great products, great prices, and something more at CarQuest Auto Parts.
Anything you can do, they can do bigger.
Overkill is underrated.
The A-Team. Go bigger with the extended cut. Any questions?
From an early age, Timothy Richmond understood that with knowledge comes confidence. In junior high, while abroad, he explained how jellyfish stings can be neutralized with vinegar in perfect Italian. As an adult, Timothy's knowledge of storm cells and tornadoes saved the Newbury Prep cheerleading squad. But when it came time to buy a new car, he was just as nervous as the rest of us. So Timothy got his knowledge at Cars.com, regained his confidence, and got the perfect car at the perfect price.
The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game, Oklahoma, Nebraska, tonight on ABC.
If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day.
For more information or to make a donation, log on to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. Also, Tuesday night right here on ESPN, it's the Jimmy V Classic, presented by Corona Extra. What a fantastic doubleheader at the Garden in New York, Memphis and Kansas, Michigan State, and Syracuse. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. Jay, you saw Kansas in a very interesting game, a win over Arizona. What's your take on the Jayhawks?
I think Kansas by the end of the season can be as good as anybody. They've got very good guards. Their big guys are exceptional. Marcus Morris, Markeith Morris, Thomas Robinson, they are outstanding. That ball needs to go inside. Miles Plumlee needs to make a strong move.
Jump hook. Missed it.
Look how tough defensively this Butler team is. Everything packed in, and there's nowhere to go. You got to spread it out. Duke is getting sucked in, and they're not driving the ball hard. They're not going to the basket. And Miles Plumlee kind of bailed out and took a jump hook instead of getting to the rim.
Fifth turnover committed by Duke. Ronald Norred has gone to the bench. Sean Van Zandt takes his place, a senior from Tampa. So it's Van Zandt, Mack, Stigall in the backcourt. Howard and Marshall up front for Butler right now. Andre Dawkins is into the game. Number 20, the sophomore. He's really taken his game, Jay, to another level here this season. Good steal there. Plumlee comes up with it.
Kyrie Irving has really fast hands. Excellent help by Matt Howard on that screen.
Irving driving right into the chest of Howard, who draws the charge.
Dan, Duke came ready to play for this game. Butler came ready for a fist fight. Matt Howard moving his feet. I'm not sure, honestly, he got there, but because this defense has been so active, he was able to get that call. What can happen a lot of times when you have a packed-in defense, the offense kind of gets sucked into the level of defense. You can't do that.
Marshall can't get the bounce, but he will go to the line. Well, Matt Howard 2 years ago was the Horizon League Player of the Year. Last year, his teammate Gordon Hayward won that honor. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Howard fouled out, Jay, of 9 games last season. None of them in the NCAA tournament, but he was in foul trouble so much. Only played 19 minutes in the championship game against Duke.
You know, I don't think Matt Howard needs to change the way he plays. He's still going to contest every shot, go after every ball. That's fine. He can still do that and remain on the floor. What he's got to do is stop the reaching fouls, kind of the little fouls that he's had, because every foul counts the same, and you can't pick up anything cheap. And I think that's what he's eliminated this year. He's not been in as much foul trouble. I think he's played much smarter.
He's also lost a little weight, says he's a little quicker, so he can get to the spot a little bit earlier.
And with a little triangle and 2 there.
Singler with the offensive rebound. Had a 30-point game up in Portland last week against his brother EJ and the Ducks, and there's a great floater by Nolan Smith. Year after year, somebody else overshadows him. He's always the second or third guy you talk about on this Duke team, but what a player he is.
Well, he just knows how to play, and he's added that little floater, that runner. He's got a very good mid-range game. What a move.
That's a young man, number 23, Kyle Marshall, that the Butler program is extremely excited about. A freshman from Davie, Florida, and he's just a different kind of athlete than Butler is normally used to getting. Although, as you all know, they've got a terrific freshman class coming in next year.
They do, and here's a terrific move by Marshall, but this is the kind of foul that Matt Howard needs to avoid. Going after the offensive rebound, just those kind of over-the-back fouls are the kind of cheap ones that he's got to avoid.
Singler misses the 3. Duke averaging 90 points per game so far this year, rolling to a 7-0 start. Mack, and he misses the 3. The rebound to Dawkins. Duke looking to run. They've got numbers.
Dawkins, a shooter. He's come in and grabbed 2 big defensive rebounds.
Singler nails this one, and that ties it at 10.
Just by grabbing 2 defensive rebounds, getting quick outlets, Duke is able to get something good in transition so they don't have to go against the Butler half-court defense and grind it out.
Norred getting set to check back in for the Bulldogs. Marshall, not shy, barely grazing the front of the rim.
It was just a diagonal up screen for the screener. They were looking for Mack or Howard down low.
Mason Plumlee draws a crowd. Open is Dawkins. What a difference a year makes. Andre Dawkins is shooting over 50% from 3-point range so far this season.
This is the iPhone 4. Its lithium polymer battery lets you work longer, play longer, laugh longer, listen longer, shoot, edit, share, update, download, read, write, and even FaceTime longer, all on the world's thinnest smartphone, the iPhone 4.
Back here at the Izod Center in East Rutherford, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Doris Burke. Duke on an 8-0 run. Jay, what's been the difference?
Well, they've done a much better job defensively, but a nice little screen roll, and they made that second pass. They passed back and got the ball inside. Single coverage by Plumlee. When he got double coverage, he was able to kick it back out to a shooter stepping into his shot. And there has not been a better shooter in the country thus far this year than Andre Dawkins, shooting over 54% from three-point range.
Let's bring in Doris again.
Jay, this is the lineup that Butler was most concerned about. When Singler goes to the 4 spot, and they spread from every position except Plumlee.
That's because you can't help off. If you help off, all of a sudden you're leaving wide open shooters out on the perimeter. They can really spread you, Doris.
Hahn tried to look away the defender, misses the runner. Another shooter's into the game now for Duke. Seth Curry, number 30, the transfer from Liberty, and the younger brother, of course, of Stephen Curry. Kyle Singler just picked up his second foul of the game.
Now, Kyle is probably saying, hey, I didn't push, but the problem is you have 2 hands on somebody. They're going to call that every time, whether it's 2 hands on a ball handler or 2 hands in the back of a rebounder.
So how about this look now for Duke? 4 guards in a Mason Plumlee. You've got Irving, Dawkins, Smith, Curry, and 1 big guy for the Duke Blue Devils.
Well, they're going to try to spread the floor and put the ball on the floor and drive. Play more drive and kick basketball.
Eric Fromm, a 6'9 freshman out of Bloomington, Indiana, into the game for Butler. He's got the size advantage right now, being defended by Dawkins.
Duke right now, with their size, can switch everything out on the perimeter. They'll help and recover with screens involving Mason Plumlee.
Cut off on the baseline. And stolen away by Mason Plumlee.
Plumlee had 5 steals against Michigan State. He's so long and can get so wide.
And another Duke turnover. They've been a little bit sloppy so far, but Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils still lead by 3. When we come back, Coach K's emotional words behind closed doors after winning the championship last year.
Gout's root cause is high uric acid. If you have gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. To help reduce attacks, lower your uric acid. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout. Uloric reduces uric acid to help you reach a healthy level.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine, mercaptopurine, or theophylline. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout, ask your doctor about Uloric.
When you come to CarQuest, you'll find the quality parts you need and the service you deserve, along with the peace of mind that you've come to a place you can trust, where our people are happy to share their expertise to help you get it right. Whether you're a Saturday superstar or one of our many professional customers, when you deal with any of our 3,000 CarQuest stores, you'll discover an experience as exceptional as our products, plus the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. Great products, great prices, and something more at CarQuest Auto Parts.
Duke by 3 over Butler, of course, in what is being billed as a rematch of the national championship game from a year ago. And after Duke won the championship last season, Mike Krzyzewski shared some emotional words with his players.
You were a good team, and you're a really good team. And you're a really good team with great character. Just because I never wanted you to quit chasing this. You can appreciate this a little bit now, but you will be national champions forever.
And that may be the 4th time that Mike Krzyzewski has given that kind of a speech, but obviously the first time that that particular group of players heard it, and what a game it was. 7 ties, 15 lead changes. Kyle Singler named the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Jay, you have been to so many Final Fours. You have worked at so many big college basketball games. Where does that game rank in terms of, the memories you've had watching basketball?
Well, it's right up there. What a terrific move by Smith down low. The nice little up and under move, and got Mason Plumlee flying off his feet. That was a great move. I mean, it ranks right up there. It was just such a compelling story. Butler being right there in Indianapolis, it was just a Hoosier story.
Mason Plumlee. Irving. Offensive foul. The second charge that a Butler player has taken today.
Butler's defense has been spectacular. Now watch when the ball does a terrific job of moving his feet. He maintains that guarding position that he established. And he sold it as well. When he got hit in the chest, sold it. And that's what you have to do when you're a good defender. And Shelvin Mack is a much improved and very good defender.
So, Jay, Kyle Singler's on the bench with 2 fouls. Kyrie Irving is on the bench with 2 fouls. Butler's only down a point midway through the first half.
Butler's got the tempo it wants. This has been a half-court game. When they played against Louisville, the Cardinals able to speed up Butler. Duke has not been able to do it.
Howard, nice move, misses the shot, gets back the rebound, puts up a prayer, and fouls as a result.
That's the dumb foul he's got to get rid of. He plays so hard, and you can't fault that. But that's the kind of thing he has got to eliminate from his game, because now he's got to go sit.
Brad Stevens forced to make a move. Junior Garrett Butcher will take over for Howard.
You know, it's funny. It has nothing to do with smarts. I mean, he's an academic All-American. I mean, that's as smart of players you're going to find. He just plays so hard. He's got such a big heart.
And if you weren't with us earlier, both of his fouls today, just like that. Both of them 90 feet away From the basket, Butler is defending. Miles Plumlee working hard for position. Slips around Smith and reverses it up and in.
Boy, one of the best moves Miles Plumlee has made on the season. And Butler's sticking with that triangle and two. They're going with man-to-man defense on the two shooters Duke puts on the perimeter, and they're going with a triangle inside.
And there's a charge taken by Ryan Kelly. That's already the 6th charge that Kelly has taken this year in limited minutes.
We talked about staying low and leverage. Here Smith is up high. He needed to get low and play Miles Plumlee more like an athlete and make it difficult for him to pivot around. That was just a great move by Plumlee inside.
You know, you think back to the championship team a year ago, Zubek and Thomas were so instrumental in Duke winning that title. Zubek especially, Jay, literally right at the end of his 4-year career, took his game to a whole other level. Those roles have to be filled by the Plumlee brothers this year.
No question.
Over and back, the Butler bench saying that ball was deflected. The officials are going to talk about it, and they say no, it's Duke ball.
Well, if you didn't see it deflected, that's the proper call. And you have to defer to the officials. We certainly didn't see anything. Nobody touched it. He just lost it.
Yeah.
Terrific job by two officials communicating out there.
Brian Dorsey and Les Jones getting together on that call. Kelly will shoot it from out there. Big man, about 6'10" from Raleigh, has the green light to launch from beyond the arc. Good show there by Kelly to slow down Mack. Van Zandt pulls up inside the arc and buries it.
Well, that was an aggressive move into that shot.
11 minutes into the game, the undefeated and top-ranked Duke Blue Devils, with 2 of their best players on the bench with 2 fouls, have a 1-point lead on Butler.
Butler doing a nice job of communicating. Another good move.
Wow. Aggressive today. Great rebound by Dawkins. Smith the miss. Rebound Van Zandt.
Well, the best time to shoot a 3 is after an offensive rebound. You're not going to get a better look than Duke just got there.
Mack. Butcher wide open, in and out.
Well, how easy was it for Mack to get into the lane? Butler does a good job of helping and communicating defensively.
Turnaround Miles Plumlee. They're looking for his offense more in the first half today than he has at any point this season.
Butler's gotten the tempo they want. This has been a half-court basketball game, and that last defensive possession, all 5 Butler Bulldogs were there to rebound.
Open is Butcher. This time he knocks it down. Butler back on top.
Butler just executing very effectively. Whenever Shelvin Mack cuts to the basket, it is drawing that Duke defense down into the lane.
And the Butler fans, few in number here today, but are making their presence known as the Bulldogs have taken the lead.
They're awfully quick on that shot.
Seth Curry misses the 3. And we're headed to a timeout. Butler by 1. It was this close in the national championship game a year ago. Coming up, the science behind last season's most memorable field goal attempts.
There's one thing you should know about me. I can access your mind through your dreams. It's called Inception. I know how to find your secrets. Let's go shake them up. I am impressed. Let's see what you can do. It's never just a dream, is it?
Buy Inception on Blu-ray and rent it with Movies on Demand Tuesday.
How much fun can you have in one night?
Don't miss the special holiday rates now at the newly renovated Spirit Mountain Lodge. Call 1-800-760-7977 for reservations only at Spirit Mountain Casino. Make a night of it.
Attention all students, let's get ready for a UFC showdown on Xfinity from Comcast.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town. Life's a game, but it's not fair. I break the rules, so I don't care. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this.
Order UFC 124 with your remote on Xfinity from Comcast.
How much fun can you have in one night?
Have you been naughty or nice? Spirit Mountain Casino is giving away.
Hand on it. Now
2 times, Katz has tried to throw the football, and the ball has taken a similar trajectory. Gets tipped by Bear, goes straight up in the air, and Terrell Turner there for the interception.
Well, have we had enough wackiness in the first?
Katz had a chance, but no good. Carolina gets a good win at home, 75-73 over Kentucky. Dan and JB?
All right, Ryan, thank you. Big win for Carolina, Jay.
Boy, Carolina is going to be a very good team by the end of this season. Their big guys have done a terrific job the last couple games.
Well, talking about doing a terrific job, how about the defense that Butler is employing against Duke?
Well, they're playing triangle too. That means 2 guys are playing man-to-man defense. Shelvin Mack and Zach Hahn. That's the 2 in triangle and 2. And there's the triangle. 3 guys playing zone, led by Shelvin Mack up top. And Seth Curry comes off that little low screen, kind of a floppy set down low, and he just too quick on the shot. He was defended very well on that.
Let's bring in Doris with more.
Well, the signs of a sound basketball program can manifest itself in subtle ways, guys. And when they were going over Butler, the schemes that you're watching and their defensive assignments, a player messed up. And before Brad Stevens could get into the guy, 3 other players, Jay, got after him. They were locked in. It wasn't like there was any joking on the sideline. The reason they're sound defensively is because these guys are locked into each and every assignment.
Kyle Singler, Doris, back into the game, playing with 2 fouls. Just missed a 3. Duke has had some open looks from beyond the arc, but they have not shot the ball well.
Boy, that's a great point. Butcher's made 2 big shots in the first half, and that's a great point that Doris makes about communication. I think coach-directed teams only go so far. The best teams are where the players do a lot of the communicating and a lot of the coaching with each other. They're reminding each other. Great slip.
Mason Plumlee on the feed from Seth Curry.
Boy, just the high screen and the hard roll to the basket by Mason Plumlee. Boy, when you roll hard, that means you are going to have to be picked up by a weak side defender. See a little handoff coming off the screen by Singler, the handoff, a little bit of contact and a slip to the goal, and Marshall just a little bit late getting there. That's really well run and well designed. Singler setting that first screen and then the handoff option.
Rebound to Van Zandt. He's been strong in there with the big fellas ripping down the board so far today.
Well, they're competing, aren't they? Every play, Butler competes and competes hard.
People will forget that Butler actually was struggling a little bit at this time last year. They were 8-4 at about this time last year. Nice feed and another basket for Garrett Butcher. He's getting the minutes only because Matt Howard's picked up a couple of fouls.
Well, he's a good spot-up shooter, and he does a really good job of playing off penetration, and that's where he's gotten his buckets in this game. Spot-up jumpers and then playing off that penetration right there, making himself available right in front of the rim.
After that 8-4 start a year ago, Butler went on to win 25 games in a row, including running the table in the Horizon League before losing to Duke in the national championship game. Nobody's suggesting they will do that again. Smith, another miss. Singler over the top for the offensive rebound and the putback.
Just went right over Van Zandt. And some will say, well, he went over his back. He went straight up. That was just a really good rebound. A little bit of a risk involved in that with 2 fouls.
Butler with the ball in a 2-point lead. And a turnover now. Here comes Nolan Smith. And the foul by Butcher. ESPN is your NBA destination Wednesday night as Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets head to Boston to take on Paul Pierce and the Celtics. The NBA on ESPN Wednesday at 7 Eastern, and then at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Tune in for college hoops. It's Notre Dame taking on Kentucky, a part of the DirecTV SEC Big East Invitational. Notre Dame is one of those teams in the Big East, Jay, where a lot of people, looked at Pittsburgh and Villanova and Syracuse, but boy, the middle part of that conference, Notre Dame is one of those teams that is off to a great start so far this year.
Boy, they've got athleticism. I mean, Carlton Scott is a terrific athlete, as is Tyrone Nash, and now having Scott Martin, the left-hander, who transferred in from Purdue and then was injured all year last year. He's going to make a big difference for that team.
I mean, there were teams like Notre Dame and Marquette and Louisville. The teams weren't paying the country wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to coming into the season, and they all have shown themselves to be quality teams here in the first few weeks of the season.
Duke has not been able to speed up this Butler team. Louisville was able to do it in that first game in the new Yum Center there in Louisville, but Duke has not been able to.
Butcher. After the air ball, here comes Smith.
Transition defense stopping the ball. They didn't communicate well there, but what a play. That's one of those individual plays. Turn the corner, but you can't teach a kid to do that. That's a big-time play by Nolan Smith. Gets bumped, able to get to the other side of the rim, and majoring in English.
9 points for Nolan Smith already on the afternoon.
Duke has probably 6 guys that can get you 20 points on a given night, 20 or more. They've already had 4 guys do it thus far in the season. Irving, Smith, Singler, Mason Plumlee had 25 against Marquette, but I think if Seth Curry can do it, so can Andre Dawkins.
And they've got 3 players, Singler, Irving, and Smith, all averaging at least 16 points per game. Kind of a new big 3, just Irving instead of Shire.
Brad Stevens says they've arguably got the best players at their positions at those 3 spots in the country.
Nice fake. Hahn. He is their designated shooter, but he's really only gotten a couple of looks, and both times he's kind of had to put the ball on the floor and move his feet, not just catch and shoot.
They've got to get something for Shelvin Mack to get him going.
Got Dawkins in the air. Fade away from the corner. Tough shot.
That kid is a pro. He had as good a summer as any player in the country. I thought he and Kemba Walker did as good a job as anybody this summer. Their work and their development over the course of the summer. And Mack really did a great job defensively. But boy, is he tired. He's been chasing Andre Dawkins around and
finishing a little bit too. Looks like he was flexing his left shoulder or left arm.
Nice fade.
Singler. And with 4 minutes to go in the first half, Butler can take the lead again.
Butler needs to run a little clock here. They look tired, and they can rest a little bit on offense. They certainly don't want to do it on defense.
Mack trapped deep in the corner.
They probably should have stayed with him on that trap to try to keep him over there.
Nice move. Goes around Singler, and a reach-in foul on Nolan Smith to take us to a timeout. Shelvin Mack getting it done on the baseline. Jay Butler only down by 1.
Well, Shelvin Mack is big, he is strong, and he is very, very skilled. That is an outstanding shot under very good pressure by Andre Dawkins defensively.
Jay Billis magically heads to the studio to break down the Duke Pressure D and its championship Saturday on the gridiron. Updates from all the important football games. Dan, Jay better start walking now. We'll see in a few.
Jay Billis is nothing if not magical. Getting back to the studio at halftime. Hey, everybody, this is such a big week for us here. Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research. Help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. To donate, text Jimmy V to 85944. Don't forget, the men's Jimmy V Classic is Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. Jay will be there. I'll be there. Doris will be there. Dick Vitale will be there. And what a great doubleheader of basketball. Memphis against Kansas at 7 Eastern. Michigan State, Syracuse at 9 Eastern, and all for an incredibly worthy cause as well.
This is a big 3:30 for Butler here defensively.
Irving scoreless today until now.
They're just able to get all the way to the 10. Nobody stopped the ball. That's one of the issues of not having Ronald Norred in the game. I think Norred, without really scoring, was able to, I don't want to say dominate, but really set the tone defensively for this Butler team to start the game and take Kyrie Irving out of it early.
Irving with 31 points Wednesday against Michigan State. Just picked up his first basket. Nice little jump hook there by Andrew Smith on the inside. Butler still getting the ball inside and getting some offense, even with Matt Howard on the bench for the last 7 or 8 minutes in foul trouble.
Well, that was set up by Shelvin Mack, setting a diagonal up screen, then he got a screen for the screener. It's that little on big screen that doesn't allow you to switch.
Mack, tough one. Wow. He's a shot maker.
And he's got the answer. Butler needs a basket, needs to be lifted up, and it's Shelvin Mack that does it.
Butler back on top. Difference in philosophies. Mike Krzyzewski has Singler and Irving in the game with 2 fouls. Brad Stevens has had Matt Howard on the bench for several minutes with 2 fouls. Smith a miss. Duke remains cold from outside the three-point line.
And they're not getting any second shots. Butler sent all 5 to the defensive glass, and they have gang rebounded and rebounded well. Another great pass.
Mack off to Smith, who will shoot a couple.
Kyrie Irving has certainly not had the kind of game in this ball game that he had against Michigan State, and that's because of the defense that Butler has put out on the floor. But the one time that they don't guard him, that they don't stop the ball. He gets all the way to the 10 and lays it in with his left hand. That was just way too easy.
Smith, 6'11" sophomore out of Indianapolis, misses the first. And look who just picked up foul number 3. Kyle Singler has gone to the bench with his 3rd foul. Ryan Kelly is back in for him.
That will take away some of Singler's aggressiveness. But as a senior, Mike Krzyzewski has got to believe that his senior is going to know how to play when he gets back out there without picking up a 4. Van Zandt going under that screen up top. Irving might want to look at pulling the trigger on a shot.
Smith baseline, strong move, can't finish. Smith the rebound, held by Plumlee.
They're just stronger going after the ball. This has been really impressive on the defensive end for Butler. I mean, I said it before, and I believe it. These kids look like choir boys. They guard like a gang of motorcycle thieves. I mean, locked arms right there, and Smith was just stronger.
So how do you explain a Butler team that a week ago was beaten by Evansville and then struggled to beat Loyola, now coming out and giving the #1 team in the country everything they can handle?
Ronald Norred. It's very simple. Ronald Norred did not play against Evansville. He didn't even suit up for the game. And Doris had talked about how valuable he was to the team in a suit. His team had no leadership, no verve. And Brad Stevens asked him to suit up for the next game against Loyola and just lifted the team up just to have him out there in warm-ups, to have him on the bench in uniform.
And what is it other than lockdown defense? What are the intangibles that he brings to the rest of the team?
He's an unbelievable leader. Just gets everybody together. He's got a great voice on that team, and he's a respected player. Not only respected by his teammates, but respected by the opponent.
Future coach?
No question.
Irving, future star.
I'm not sure it's future.
Well, he's only had 2 field goals, but they've both been memorable. Your homework assignment is to tell us who he reminds you of by the end of the afternoon. We've been struggling with that.
You know, he's just a unique player. I've never been good at that anyway, because you often go by what they look like instead of how they play. But Mac needs to continue to go into those hedges. He's going to pick up a foul.
Van Zandt from the elbow. Smith, the offensive rebound, blocked by Kelly. Irving turns it over. 4th turnover committed by the freshman here today.
I wonder if Butler will look for a 2-for-1, or they'll just run some 2. That's a foul, and it's been there. We just talked about that. If he goes into that hedge, he's going to pick up a foul. That was a smart move by Mac. Ryan Kelly, 6'11" with those long arms. Got to give some credit for Plumlee for being there as well. Look at that split. He just finds gaps, a little fake, and froze the defender. Can finish with either hand around the rim.
Now Irving sits down. He's got 2 fouls, remember. So with 46 seconds to go in the half, he goes to the bench. Curry back in for Duke. And there's his dad, Dredrick, who is a terrific scorer, big-time player at Boston University and played professionally in Australia as well. And looking on watching with a ton of pride, obviously, is Kyrie. One of the great freshmen in college basketball this year, and some people are already saying, hey, forget freshmen, one of the top players in the country so far this year.
This has been the same tempo as the national championship game. So Butler has won the battle of tempo. Duke has not been able to speed them up.
Good fake. Kelly, nicely done.
Well, just that little pass fake froze the defender. And you don't get that much time against Butler to shoot in a game of horse. That was outstanding by Ryan Kelly.
Shot clock turned off. Butler will try to hold for the final shot. No matter what happens here in the last 20 seconds, the Bulldogs have to be happy with the way things have gone so far.
They'll get it to Matt. Let him play.
Nice. Here's a good look for Hahn. The best look he's had so far today, and the lefty buries it.
The clock's running, so they need to put some more time back on that clock.
Boy, they executed beautifully in that last possession, didn't they? Well, we talked a little bit earlier about the sports science, the science of the national championship shot taken by Gordon Hayward. Here's John Brankus, the host of Sports Science, to fill us in.
Hayward's 54-degree launch angle was good, but his release velocity of 28 miles an hour was just barely too strong. Only half a mile an hour less and the ball rebounds, hits the middle of the inside of the rim, and has a chance. But Hayward's real problem was the x-axis, his aim. If he releases the ball with the same launch angle at only half a mile an hour slower, and the ball hits just 3 inches to the left on the backboard, Butler wins.
I told you it was the x-axis.
Well, Dan, that's the problem. When you don't have any timeouts left at the end of a game, you can't calculate the x-axis and the launch angle. You could order golf clubs like with the.
Well, you know what, Gordon Hayward, first of all, is a great player and is a great young man as well, and had a phenomenal season. And unfortunately now, whenever people mention Gordon Hayward, they mention a missed half-court shot. But I know he's watching. The Jazz aren't playing today. As Nolan Smith goes coast to coast for a slam at the end of the half. Well, that was way too easy, but all in all, it was a great first 20 minutes for the Butler Bulldogs. Butler and Duke are tied at 33. Doris Burke is with Butler coach Brad Stevens.
Well, accepting that last play, Duke is an explosive offensive team, but you've done a good job defensively. What's working?
Well, I do think we've dodged a few bullets, but I do, we've tried to sink a little bit off the appropriate guys, and we've been fortunate that they've missed some shots, and our guys have done a pretty good job. We can
We're here with the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And what a game we've had so far. At the end of the first half, Butler and Duke tied at 33. Jay Billis will take you through some of the highlights.
Well, Shelvin Mack, terrific in that first half. 8 points and a half when Howard and Norad only played 16 minutes out of 100. Kyle Singler found himself in foul trouble as well, picked up his third. And Nolan Smith, an excellent first half for Duke. He wound up with 12 points, but just 4 of 11. Duke took 16 of its 31 shots from three-point range. They've talked about dominating inside, but they've been taking a lot of perimeter shots.
Now, how about the similarities between today and the national championship game of a year ago? The score is just 1 point off from where it was at halftime in Indianapolis last April. A number of ties and lead changes, and as you said, often and correctly so in the first half, Jay, the pace has been the pace Butler has wanted here in this game. Matt Howard, who missed a lot of action in the first half after picking up 2 fouls, slams it home and the Bulldogs take the lead.
Now, Duke has had a problem guarding the ball, and Kyrie Irving just getting on the inside a little bit of Shelvin Mack and gave him that lane right to the basket. When Mack gets a little bit of a crease, he's gone.
Ryan Kelly was wide open. Mason Plumlee couldn't get it to him, but it all works out in the end for Duke as Kyrie Irving knocks down the 3.
A good ball reversal, and Irving was ready to shoot when he caught it. Norad had to recover late, but he was already into his shooting motion.
Off the leg of Mack. It was deflected, says Brian Kersey. Or was it? I think the 2 officials had different calls. It is Brian Dorsey, who was the closest official to the play, who said no Duke player touched it, and it's over and back. I thought Brian Kersey was signaling that that ball was touched, and it was. It looks like.
But it looked like it was touched, but it went off of Matt Howard. And if the offensive team is the last one to touch it before it goes across, then it's a backcourt violation. And unless you see it touched by the defense, and the defense is the one that knocks it backcourt, you have to call it a backcourt violation. The referees have done that both times tonight, and they've both done the right call.
Mason Plumlee begging for the ball on the inside. Hasn't gotten a touch yet. Defended by Andrew Smith, who was one of the stronger players in the first half for Butler. Irving the miss. Plumlee the rebound. Smith the 3. And Duke continues to struggle from beyond the arc. They are 5 for 18 in the game right now, shooting threes.
Well, that was a good 3 because it was after an offensive rebound. It was a step-in 3. That's exactly the right shot. But Duke has been really living by the 3 throughout this game. And they talked about getting it inside and trying to take advantage of their size advantage, but they haven't.
Shelvin Mack with a corner 3 continues to put up big numbers today.
On that last drive by Kyrie Irving, Norad did a great job of bodying him up. He made him miss. He is just a great on-ball defender.
Plumlee. Kelly the follow. Norad the rebound.
That was a weak move inside by Mason Plumlee. He went away from the basket instead of using his strength and his athleticism and his size advantage to go right at the rim and draw a foul.
You think he's a guy who still doesn't realize how good he can be?
I'm sure he doesn't. Good pass.
Smith created a little space with the elbow, got it back, missed again, got it back. And blocked by Plumlee.
Plumlee's got great length and athleticism.
Singler with 3 fouls. Kelly for 3. And again, no offensive rebounding to speak of for Duke, and that's one of the areas where it was thought they might dominate in this game. They might emphasize in this game, getting on the glass.
Well, they did emphasize it. It's almost like the shots have come out of the flow of their offense, and you're unable to get the kind of rebounding positioning that you want and to be able to go after it if you're not sure exactly where the shot's coming from and who's going to be taking it.
The Blue Devils down by 2. Let's check in with Doris Burke.
Well, to a point, Jay Billis hammered home throughout the first 20 minutes. Not able to catch it there is Plumlee. The first words out of associate head coaches Chris Collins' mouth, he said, we have got to bring the fight to Butler. They were flat tougher than we were in the first 20 minutes. He said, we got to make them feel on the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, he said, hey, we missed some open shots. We need to continue to make the extra pass against this gapping Butler defense. But, Jay, I think it was far more about the mental toughness and bringing the fight back at Butler.
And it is not often, Jay, you know, from being a player and a coach in the program and now an observer of this program, it is not often under Mike Krzyzewski where you look at his team and say the other team is bringing more fight than the Duke Blue Devils.
But it shouldn't come as a shock because of how good Butler is. I mean, in Butler's league, they don't get the kind of attention that Duke gets. They don't get the national TV for every game. They're on TV a lot now because of what they've accomplished. But the truth is, Butler's the Duke of the Horizon League. Every time they step on the floor in the Horizon League, they are the target. It's a full house. It's a crusade to beat Butler. So for them to go last year 18-0 in their league, that might have been the best league accomplishment of any team in the country last year.
Irving at the line. The foul was on Norred, his third. Butcher in for Smith for Butler. Dad Dredrick looking on again as his son knocks down the free throws that tie the game. Irving didn't have any points until about 2 minutes were left in the first half. Suddenly he's got 9.
Butcher did a terrific job in that first half, and Howard's open.
And Howard gets it. Nice move. Too strong off the rim. Rebound Plumlee. Boy, everything but the finish for Matt Howard.
Well, it's hard to do, but you can't go for his face.
A block is the call on Zach Hahn. Brad Stevens can't believe it.
He was there. I mean, he was there waiting. Now, he might have moved a little bit at the end, but he was there. That's a charge. I mean, if it's anything, because he wasn't right underneath the basket.
Does it matter if you are square or turn your body slightly as the contact is made?
Well, that was the thing. He was a little bit thin. And had his feet close together. Maybe it just looked odd to the official. You can't have your feet further apart than your shoulders, at least you're not supposed to by the rule book, but it doesn't say anything about being thin.
Irving's a New Jersey kid from West Orange, not far away at all from where we are in East Rutherford. So you know this is a big game for him, getting a chance to come up here to New Jersey to play a game. Mack. He's made about 3 of those today. The miss here. Plumlee racing down the court. Has it knocked away. Butler ball.
And what a play by Shelvin Mack.
And out of bounds to the Bulldogs to take us to the first media timeout here in the second half. What a game it's been. Duke leading Butler by 2. More on the Duke New Jersey connection when we come back to East Rutherford after this.
The Heisman Trophy presentation, December 11th at 8 on ESPN.
Yes! I got the Boss's tickets on Saturday. Football! We're saying snow on Saturday, too. Record lows. Old school, the frozen tundra. Winter warriors on a merciless field. Hands frozen numb.
High School, just about 15 miles away from the Izod Center where we're playing this game right now. Irving was the star at St. Patrick's in Elizabeth, New Jersey, averaging better than 24 points and 6 assists per game. And he's not the only, Jay, notable guard to come out of the state of New Jersey and go on to star at Duke.
Boy, how about this list? You can be a first-team All-American and the third best player on this list. Bobby Hurley, All-American, the all-time assist leader. Jay Williams, one of the most dynamic guards I've ever seen in the Atlantic Coast Conference and in college basketball. And the budding star Kyrie Irving, who has shown some amazing potential. They just execute so well. Right out of the out of bounds, or right out of the timeout.
Back to Howard to tie the game, but Duke goes right back on top. Second field goal of the afternoon for Mason Plumlee.
Well, that's attacking, and both teams have been attacking. But it's a Butler-style tempo in this ball game.
We're up in New Jersey because Duke likes to play at least one game every year, either in New York or New Jersey, as Howard draws the foul. There are so many Duke alumni up in this part of the country, and they always do a number of events surrounding this kind of a game. But Duke's had a great run of success in this building under Mike Krzyzewski. And granted, very little of this has to do anything with the current players, but under Mike Krzyzewski, Jay, Duke is 18-1 in this building, including 10-0 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's been an amazing stretch just in this particular building, but what this game and games like it do for teams like Duke and Butler when they play them, it really simulates an NCAA tournament kind of regional final atmosphere and gets them ready to play a team that they would play in a regional final game and gets them used to it. So they feel like at least they've been there before and had that kind of experience. The neutral site, the big arena, you know, the NBA-style arena. It's a great thing for both programs to play this kind of game.
With Jay Billis, Doris Burke, I'm Dan Schulman. Duke and Butler, but a rematch of the national championship game, are tied at 42 here early in the second half. As Kyrie Irving misses the three. It's been a back-and-forth game, numerous ties and lead changes. Some foul trouble for both teams in the first half. Neither team has led by more than 5 points at any point. Great backdoor cut, and the reverse layup for Chase DeGaulle.
Anytime that they dribble at you, you're worried sometimes about a handoff. You're worried about replace action and backfill action. You've also got to worry about that backdoor cut, and that was a great corner backdoor.
Duke is 7-0, ranked number 1 in the country. Butler is 4-2, and they have already lost at Louisville and against Evansville.
Delvin Mack was turning the corner, and when he does, he just gets you to look at the ball just that little bit, and Andre Dawkins got caught, but one of the problems was there was no help side defense in the middle of the lane to be able to knock that pass away. Great execution by Butler.
Smith trying to bull his way in on the baseline, and a foul going against Butler on the floor. It's Matt Howard, his third. He played only 8 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. They got 5.5 minutes out of him here before they have to take him out again. So Garrett Butcher comes on, and Butcher was one of the unsung heroes for Butler in the first half. Played 11 minutes, had 7 points. Dawkins the miss, skying for the rebound is Norrie.
Most of the time that's a good shot, and a shot that Andre Dawkins probably feels like is a layup for him, but a lot of threes shot by Duke in this ball game.
Norrie asking for a screen from Smith. Goes the other way. Butcher the handoff to Van Zandt. Still 10 on the shot clock. Plumlee with a reach around steal.
It's a difficult pass to try to execute from that angle.
Irving taken away. Norrie.
Nice pass.
DeGaulle. And it's out of bounds to Butler. There's more great defense by Ronald Norrie.
You show the ball, he's going to take it away. Stays low, stays in front, stops that penetration. Dan, I have not seen a better individual on-ball defender at the point of attack than Ronald Norrie. I mean, he is invaluable for this team. If there's one indispensable player for Butler, I think he is it.
He's missed the last 2 games and most of a third because of a concussion that he suffered a week and a half ago. Just returning to action here today. Van Zandt, nice pass. Smith Instead of going up strong, tried to reverse it underneath the basket.
He just needs to get stronger. He's doing almost everything right, but he has not been finishing. I think he needs to get that low base a little bit stronger to where he can explode up and take a little bit of contact. He's been getting bumped down low, and that's been knocking him off a little bit in his shot.
Single bullet pass to Miles Plumlee. Irving the extra pass to the open man Smith, who is fouled on the three-point attempt.
Ronald Norred is all over this floor. Look at him underneath the basket. Gets out, contests that shot, then contests this one. And just a little bit of a touch on Nolan Smith. Still counts as a foul. Get 3 free throws out of it, but you got to give him a lot of credit for hustling.
And Jay, the 4th foul, we are told, on Ronald Norred with 13 minutes left. And you just said he's the most indispensable player they've got.
Well, that certainly hurts with 13 minutes left to go in regulation. To have your best defender and the guy who keys everything. He only played, what, 8 minutes in that first half. He and Howard played 8 minutes each. And still, Butler was able to hang with Duke possession by possession.
It's one of those moments you mark down the score and the time. Well, the best defender Butler has goes to the bench. Shelvin Mack has come in to take Norred's place. Nolan Smith makes all 3 free throws.
And you wonder how long does Brad Stevens go before he brings back 2 of his best players, Norred and Howard.
Norred with 4, Howard with 3. Duke up by 1. Mack, quick trigger.
He's trying to say he got hit there.
And Mack's still down.
Well, he had a lot of problems with cramps last year. And that may be what it is. He would often get IV fluids last year, and cramping was a major issue for Shelvin Mack last season.
He had them in the Louisville game earlier this year as well. Cost him a lot of time in the second half. He just checked back into the game a few seconds ago after the 4th foul on Norred. And hopefully nothing more serious than cramping, although, as you say, this has become a chronic problem for Shelvin Mack. And well, it sure looks like a cramp the way he's extending that leg.
Well, with all the foul trouble, as you said, to have Mack out of the ball game for even a couple of minutes would be a major development for Butler. The one thing that Brad Stevens does, I mean, he's obviously very concerned about Shelvin Mack. He knows that he's in great hands, but he's moving on to the next thing to try to get his team ready to play. He doesn't show any weakness at all. And that doesn't look like the face of a young man who's saying, you know, I'm hurt. It looks like the face of a guy who's saying, not again.
Yeah. Norred with 4 fouls. And Mack still being attended to and unable to get up at this point. So
they're bringing some fluids out to him right now so he can try to get a little more hydration.
Let's bring in Doris Burke.
Well, guys, as you said, this is an ongoing issue for Shelvin Mack. It is, in fact, cramps that he's dealing with. They have hired, as new this year, a nutritionist to work with this basketball program, and he's worked specifically with Shelvin Mack, trying to change his diet. Now, he's dropped 10 pounds. He's really leaned out. But they're doing everything they can. They've made sure he's taken fluids. I don't know if this is just a specific body type issue, but these things have been addressed by Butler. It's just something that this guy has got to contend with.
So Mack with cramping problems in his legs. Howard on the bench with 3 fouls. Norred on the bench with 4 fouls. And this is truly
it's a mash unit.
Yeah. and a tough test right now. A dangerous time right now for Butler. Can they stay in this game until they can get some of those 3 guys back into the game?
Well, they didn't have many minutes in that first half when all 3 got tripped there. Boy, they execute so well. But they didn't have any time in the first half where all 3 of them were off the floor. And now in the second half, to all 3 of them.
Second foul on Miles Plumlee. Some teams just have a knack for executing consistently well on inbounds plays or out of timeouts, and Butler's one of them.
Van Zandt probably saved the layup there by getting the ball away from Nolan Smith. Duke had a break.
Smith, and he is bumped by Hahn before the shot. Foul on the floor.
I'm not sure that Butler's going to be able to extend and guard out on those ball screens that high with the lineup they've got in right now. This is a lineup that Duke can drive.
That foul, Jay, is also the 6th team foul on Butler. So the next one will send Duke to the line for the rest of the game. Singler, and there is the next one. Basket and a foul.
Singler gets Hahn on him and immediately used his strength and height advantage, dropped that shoulder and went right into him. Hahn didn't really have the angle, but that looked more like a charge than a foul to me.
And it's the 4th foul on Zach Hahn.
The contact very smartly was created by Kyle Singler. The senior just going right into the chest of Zach Hahn and putting him on his back, and was able to draw that foul. And Brad Stevens can't wait any longer. He's got to go back. He's got to take the risk of letting some of his better players play with 4 fouls.
So Hahn stays in the game with 4. Howard returns to the game with 3. And the rebound by Van Zandt. Just a 3-point spread, but so many things have changed in this game in the last couple of minutes between the foul trouble and the injury trouble for the Bulldogs.
And Duke is so explosive. They can go on a 14-2 run. You've got to be mindful of that and make sure you've got somebody on the floor that can score.
Howard might be that guy. Misses the left-handed runner. Here come the Blue Devils looking to push. Smith. Singler. And it's the biggest lead of the afternoon for Duke.
And without Norred on the floor, much tougher to stop Duke when they get a full head of steam going from end to end.
Stolen away by Dawkins. Hahn has fouled out of the game. Dawkins slams it in, and the Blue Devils are rolling.
An explosive basketball team, the Duke Blue Devils, taking advantage of some foul trouble and putting their foot on the gas in New Jersey.
When you come to CarQuest, you'll find the quality parts you need and the service you deserve, along with the peace of mind that you've come to a place you can trust, where our people are happy to share their expertise to help you get it right. Whether you're a Saturday superstar or one of our many professional customers, when you deal with any of our 3,000 CarQuest stores, you'll discover an experience as exceptional as our products, plus the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. Great products, great prices, and something more at CarQuest Auto Parts.
Rock your body, make it knock knock when you're partying. Take a break right in the audience. Do you footwork right inside again? I'm looking sharp, you can't compete with a
Morning, boys.
City flick, and I'm holding down that leg, you're right. Uh-oh, so dig, you ain't slick now. Acrylic face, taco go. Clothes on my back, to the paint on my toes. Stay fresh, cause it comes from the go.
Ah, the father and son road trip. Just a little imagination and you're good to go. Desert highways, scenic vistas, overly active wildlife. Did they just build a souvenir stand that sells extra hair? Nice. Yes, when you build together, the possibilities are endless. So, gentlemen, hold on to your hats and start your Lego road trip today at buildtogether.com.
Hey man, how's my truck doing?
Good. They're just changing the oil. We're in. Here we go.
Come on, y'all!
I'm gonna go check on the fellas.
You guys almost done?
It's gonna take a while. You're leaking diesel fuel.
It's not a diesel engine.
Yeah, that's why it's so bad.
It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Ryan Burr in studio. Let's get a update now from the Civil War. Oregon State Ducks need a win to head to the BCS championship game. LaMichael James gets the corner, gets in the end zone. 16-7 Oregon now over Oregon State. SEC championship game. Auburn leads South Carolina 14-7. Cam Newton a touchdown running and throwing. Dan and Jay.
Ryan, thank you. Zach Hahn has fouled out of the game. Duke has its largest lead of the afternoon now, 51-44. And as Jay just mentioned, Duke can be an explosive team. And Marquette, Kansas State, and Michigan State have all felt the wrath of a second-half run by the Blue Devils. And look at this. Since Ronald Norred picked up that 4th foul, Duke's gone on a 9-0 run in just 1 minute and 17 seconds.
Well, it shows the explosive nature of this Duke basketball team, but it also shows how vital of a cog in the Butler wheel that Ronald Norred is.
And he is back into the game despite having 4 fouls, but really with Mack hurt and Hahn fouling out, Brad Stevens doesn't have any other choice.
Just have to be smart. And Zach Hahn on that breakaway should have just let the layup happen instead of fouling. And not only did he give up the extra point, but he's out of the game now. And Ronald Norred can't let that same thing happen.
Singler comes up with a steal. Butler keeps trying to go inside, but they haven't had as much success here in the second half.
Well, they're not going in off ball reversal or off of screening action.
Stolen away by Van Zandt. Numbers for Butler. Smith. And a foul on Plumlee, and now Smith is shaken up.
Plumlee was in pretty good position there while Smith was trying to make that individual move. He just can't reach in at the end. You know, he's so much bigger and taller. When he makes this move, you get down low, keep your arms up, and he just leaves his feet there just for a second and then reaches in. Once he gets out of position, he wants to reach in there. If he just keeps his hands up, he can bother that shot. And Smith has not been finishing. Make him finish over the top instead of bailing him out with a foul.
And now Smith has to leave the game. Garrett Butcher will come in. Now the Bulldogs, figuratively speaking, Jay, threw the first punch in this game. But Duke's thrown a few of their own here in the second half. Howard gathers, misses, gets it back, misses again.
See, that was a much better job by Mason Plumlee. He forced the miss by just being big and making Matt Howard shoot over.
How pretty is that? Andre Dawkins to Mason Plumlee. And a timeout by Butler.
Just a wing ball screen. Had an open side on the right. And Mason Plumlee showing just how athletic he is. You talk about playing above the rim. That's what he did.
Cold weather is coming again, folks.
Today, and I love that about him. I think his enthusiasm has spread through the entire V Foundation. I think that's the thing that carries our foundation forward.
And this is Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research, and a reminder that the Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona Extra comes your way Tuesday night here on ESPN. A great doubleheader, Memphis City, Kansas, Michigan State, and Syracuse. Both games are also available online at ESPN3.com.
What a field for the Jimmy V. 4 of the top 15 teams in the country going against each other.
Another rugged schedule for Michigan State, including that game against Syracuse. There's a big shot for Chase Stigall. That snaps a 12-0 run by the Blue Devils.
Well, the first thing you have to do with Stigall is find him in transition. And again, out of a timeout. Butler executing to perfection.
By the way, Andrew Smith on the bench. They are now checking him for symptoms of a concussion as Nolan Smith gets the tough runner to go. They just got through missing Ronald Norred for about 3 games with a concussion, and now Smith, after getting an elbow, is on the bench, and they continue to monitor him.
Duke has picked up its pressure, but the Blue Devils done a much better job in the second half of attacking off the dribble and getting into the lane.
Van Zandt trying to turn the corner on Seth Curry. He does, and the basket counts.
Van Zandt, one of the better defenders on this team, just turns that corner, and he won the shoulders battle there with Seth Curry. Got his shoulders lower. He had more leverage, lower center of gravity. And that is awfully difficult for Mack to be over there on the sidelines with his Butler team playing.
Let's get an update on Adoris.
Well, I asked the Butler staff, how is it determined when he comes back in? That is up to Shelvin Mack to let them know he feels like he's physically ready to go. He continues to pound Gatorade guys, but no sign of movement yet.
Meanwhile, Andrew Smith just got up and, along with somebody from the medical staff for Butler, went to the locker room. So 2 injured players right now for Butler, plus another one who's fouled out, and Zach Hahn. Van Zandt open. Got it.
How about this team? The guts this team has. Kyle Singler trying to thread the needle on a backdoor pass taken right away.
Irving inside, lobs it up for Plumlee, and a strong finish that time by Mason Plumlee.
And again, about attacking the basket. Duke doing a much better job of attacking the basket. They left Matt Howard on an island to defend all by himself, almost picked up a foul.
Van Zandt having to work at the point right now. Norred playing off the ball a little bit. Mack continuing to stretch out his left leg on the bench, hoping to get back in. Fade away by Van Zandt. That one could have brought rain, and it drops right through the basket to make it a 4-point game.
And when Shelvin Mack goes out, Van Zandt makes Shelvin Mack type shots. That's not something he has shown much of.
Irving so good with the left hand.
He's just got that great hesitation move.
Irving didn't score until there were 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Now he's got 13 points in this game, but it's Sean Van Zandt who has stepped up to help keep Butler in the game.
Well, Van Zandt is fast. He can attack in transition. He's not known as a great three-point shooter, but he's knocked down that three. Look at that little step back and then crossover move, spin, and fall away. I thought Shelvin Mack was on the bench. Apparently he switched jerseys wearing number 2.
And if you're Kyrie Irving, you can't do anything more on defense. Van Zandt has scored the last 7 Butler points in this game, and when it looked like Duke might get away from them, Butler has crept back into it, down by 6. Van Zandt with 9 points off the bench. Only 2 starters in the game right now for Butler. Ronald Norred and Matt Howard. There's one of the starters continuing to work on Mack. Zach Hahn is fouled out, and Andrew Smith's gone to the locker room with a possible concussion.
Now, this Butler team has had every reason to let this game get away. Every single one. They've had foul trouble. They've had guys injured. And Brad Stevens just picks somebody off that bench, and they go in and they fight.
Stegall needs some help. They'll have to use a timeout. Good D by Dawkins. A 30-second timeout. Now some college football action coming your way. It's part of Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend. 3 BCS Bowl berths are on the line tonight at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN. Florida State takes on Virginia Tech with the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Connecticut looks to clinch the Big East title as they take on South Florida, and also at 8 Eastern on ABC, Oklahoma and Nebraska. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship.
Duke getting out and pressuring and forcing Stegall to pick the ball up 35 feet from the bucket. And that's one of the things when Duke is really pressuring the ball, they can push you further out on the floor. All of a sudden your passes are longer, your drives are longer. It is much more difficult to run something. Well, what a play by Norred.
Somehow kept both himself and the ball in bounds.
Really the key for Duke's defense is going to be ball pressure at the point of attack. They can then get out in passing lanes, try to take away some vision. And their defense has been much better. That's 2 hands on the ball handler there by Andre Dawkins. That's an automatic call every time.
Timeout on the floor. Duke leading by 6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by American Pickers. Mike and Frank are back for all new episodes on history.
Yes! I got the boss's tickets on Saturday. Football! We're saying snow on Saturday, too. Record lows. Old school, the frozen tundra. Winter warriors on a merciless field. Hands frozen numb.
I'd sell those tickets if I were you.
What?
Who says the best seat at the game has to be at the game? If it's Lane, it's right in your living room. Now through December 6th, get an additional $50 off Lane reclining furniture.
Yeah, we see you.
Get the best seat at the game at lanecoupon.com.
Beer and wine and cupcakes. I was doing the corporate grind like everyone else. But to be successful, I knew I had to be different. Ink, 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 ink. I mean, I love that card. It does things differently, too. Great customer service, going above and beyond to help me out as a small business. It's accepted in twice as many places around the world as American Express. And if I ever need to give my employees ink cards, they're free.
Make your mark with ink. Chase what matters. Go to chase.com/ink.
The A-Team. Go bigger with the extended cut.
Brian Burr in studio, Sports Center in game. Purdue and Alabama over on ESPN2. John Hart stepping it up, knocking it down for the Boilers. Currently 47-34. Purdue in control with 10 minutes to go. Just a reminder, coming up next, Dimitri McKinney, the battle in Seattle, Illinois, and Gonzaga about 23 minutes from now. Guys?
That should be an outstanding basketball game coming up this afternoon on ESPN. Ryan, thanks very much. Duke leading by 6, and if Duke goes on to win today, Mike Krzyzewski will tie Adolph Rupp for 3rd on the all-time Division I men's list in terms of victories. And if Duke has another sensational season, Coach K could conceivably pass his coach, his mentor, Bob Knight, for the all-time wins list. You played for Mike Krzyzewski, Jay, in the 80s. What has been the key to his success and his longevity?
I think his ability to relate to players and to bring people together. As an X&O coach, he's very good. A lot of these guys are really good X&O coaches, but I think what separates him is his ability to manage people and get them to work together. That is a very rare skill at the highest level he's had it since I've known him.
Is he the kind of guy who could, give you the pep talk and make you want to run through the wall for him? Was he one of those guys before a game?
Yeah, I mean, he was a doctor of letters. Most of them grouped together by 4 when he was talking to me.
Stegall open. The 3 rattles out. Howard with a rebound. Van Zandt. What a second half Sean Van Zandt's having.
That was made possible by the offensive rebound and immediately looking out. Howard doesn't have an easy shot for the stick back and found Van Zandt for a step-in 3.
Irving with the answer at the other end. What a talent.
And Mike Krzyzewski imploring his team to play defense.
Norred has not scored in this game, but still has been one of the most important players in this game. Misses the left-handed runner. Plumlee the rebound.
He has numbers.
Irving's had some big games against Kansas State, against Michigan State. He has answered the bell. The freshman in his 8th collegiate game. Another 3.
Norred went under the screen. When you go under that little ball screen, he did it in the first half, and Irving didn't pull the trigger. That time he did.
Again, Irving did not have a point with 4 minutes left in the first half. Now he's got 19, 15 of them here in the second half.
I think Kemba Walker has been the best player in the country thus far in the season. I think the best point guard has been Kyrie Irving.
Van Zandt after a switch trying to get away from Plumlee. Marshall throws up a prayer and draws the foul.
Kyrie Irving has got everything in his game. Little step back. He just plays with terrific pace. This time Norred goes right underneath Miles Plumlee, setting that little ball screen. And very calmly, Kyrie Irving, just a freshman, steps behind and knocks that shot down in rhythm. Kid's got everything.
One of his good buddies is Austin Rivers, the son of Doc Rivers. Austin, maybe the highest ranked recruit in this year's class of high school seniors, has committed to Duke. He's coming to Durham next year. Whether Kyrie Irving is still at Duke as a sophomore remains to be seen.
I was just going to say, maybe Irving can help Austin Rivers move into his dorm while he's moving out.
But can you imagine the 2 of them together? I mean, I have not seen Austin Rivers. I've seen highlights and read all the reports. I'm sure you have seen him at times. Everybody says he is just a phenomenal.
No, he's the real deal.
Singler. And the rebound is Stegall.
Singler has not had one of his better games in large measure because of the foul trouble. But it has to be nice for Mike Krzyzewski to, great move by Howard to get Plumlee on top and hold him there. He plays angles so well. I think Matt Howard thinks he's always open. It's just a question of the angle of the ball.
We're here with the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey. #1 and undefeated Duke taking on Butler in a rematch of the national championship game. And despite injuries and a player fouling out, Butler is hanging in. They are down by 7. It was tied at the half as Dawkins draws the foul. Duke had a 12-0 run to break away a little bit. Sean Van Zandt single-handedly brought Butler back. And now there's a bit of a cushion for Duke, but I'm sure Mike Krzyzewski's not feeling comfortable yet. #4 on Matt Howard.
Just an unnecessary reach. And that's the kind of thing, when you got 3 fouls, you can't do. And those are the kind of ticky-tack, chippy little fouls. I mean, it was a good call, but the foul wasn't worth it.
One of the 4 fouls that Matt Howard has today.
2 of them have been, at least 2 have been cheap ones.
Well, the cheap one there, and 2 of them were over the back of the offensive end on rebounds.
When he had very little chance of getting the offensive rebound. It's great credit for the heart to go after it and the will, but you have to show a little bit more discipline because of the risk.
1 of 2 for Dawkins. You look at why some people are saying Duke is better this year than they were last year when they won the national championship. The development of Andre Dawkins. As you said, he's been one of the best shooters in the country so far this year.
Well, they can play faster this year, so they can play a high possession game and really wear you out, or they can play a grinder and beat you. And this has been a grinder for the most part.
Marshall fouled by Singler. The Duke crowd did not like that one. #4 on Kyle Singler.
Looked like Singler was there, but it looked like it was a good job by Marshall to sell that call a little bit. Singler jumps in. Maybe moving just a little bit, but good job by Marshall to sell it too.
I don't envy officials on the block charge call. It's the toughest call in the sport.
And it is tough. I've always kind of felt if it's not obvious, it has to be a block. Like if you can't say definitively charge, then you have to say block. That's just my judgment on something I've never done, which is officiate a high-level game.
I thought you never took a charge.
Never did that either. Usually I took a charge because I was too slow to get out of the way.
1 of 2 for Marshall. Duke with the ball in a 7-point lead. 4.5 to go. Butler not helping their cause at the free throw line at all.
They're going to take their time getting into a box set.
Kelly looking for Plumlee.
Norad took that away.
Shot clock at 6. And now Irving is shaken up. Kyrie Irving grimacing, reached down for, looked like the toes on his right foot.
He may be cramping up a bit too.
He's going to need some help getting off the court. Dad looking on with some concern.
Looks like it just locked up there. I mean, it didn't look like it was any sort of ankle injury or hyperextension, anything like that. It looked like it was more of a cramp.
So Irving getting some medical attention. ESPN is your NBA destination on a Wednesday night. It's the Denver Nuggets led by Carmelo Anthony taking on Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics at 7 Eastern. And then at 9:30 Eastern here on ESPN, college basketball action on the home court of college hoops. Undefeated Notre Dame taking on number 11 Kentucky, which lost by 2 earlier today to North Carolina. This game is a part of the DirecTV SEC Big East invitation.
All this cramping that we've seen with Shelvin Mack and now Kyrie Irving, that must be why Bill Raftery is always telling us to push fluids.
Why he's always fully hydrated? Well, hopefully nothing serious for either Mack or Irving. With the shot clock running down, Singler buries one.
One of the most versatile players in the country. And I'm not sure you can see anybody play harder than he does.
Howard, tough catch, gathers and finishes. Nice play, 7-point game.
He just went right into the chest of Mason Plumlee and knocked him back a little bit to create that space.
He's given up about 3-4 inches and 10 or 15 pounds in that matchup with Mason Plumlee.
They do such a good job of isolating him in the post. They'll get a little back pick or get a little on big screen to get him down into the post and get 4 around 1. Duke content to work the clock again. They need to turn right into Howard and get some contact. Dawkins, a tough one from the corner. What a shot. Well, sooner or later, this team is going to knock down shots in just about any game. You've got shooters like Singler and Smith and Curry and Dawkins. Those are 4 outstanding shooters around a great athlete inside. That's Singler.
Singler just fouled out of the game, but came up with a big shot moments ago. With the shot clock running down, Duke looking for an 8-0 start to the season.
One time of year when we all become doers. When our mittens double as work gloves and we turn every room into a project. But this year, let's trim the budget. Get some help from Martha Stewart that we can't get anywhere else and spread our money as far as our cheer. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We're lowering the cost of tradition with fresh-cut trees at fresh-cut prices.
From an early age, Timothy Richmond understood that with knowledge comes confidence. In junior high, while abroad, he explained how jellyfish stings can be neutralized with vinegar. In perfect Italian. As an adult, Timothy's knowledge of storm cells and tornadoes saved the Newbury Prep cheerleading squad. But when it came time to buy a new car, he was just as nervous as the rest of us. So Timothy got his knowledge at Cars.com, regained his confidence, and got the perfect car at the perfect price.
ESPN has a brand new channel, Goal Line. Every Saturday, we'll be your remote control, taking you around the country to see all the big moments live.
Tomorrow, there will be a new #1.
ESPN Goal Line, Saturdays noon to midnight. Get ready for bowl season with the ESPN Bowl-Bound app. Highlights, news and analysis, weekly projections, and the latest BCS standings. ESPN Bowl-Bound app, free on iPhone and Android. Text BOWL to 43776 to download.
Ryan Burr in studio. Have some breaking news. Derek Jeter has agreed to a new contract with the Yankees. Sources say the captain agrees to $17 million for 3 seasons with an option for a 4th year at a lower salary. SEC championship game. It's 21-7 Auburn, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Back here in New Jersey, a 10-point lead for Duke. Kyle Singler, who has not had a vintage Kyle Singler performance. He's had some foul trouble, and now he just picked up his 5th. The last play before the timeout, so he is out of the game. We are told a big toe issue on the right foot for Kyrie Irving as he tries to walk it off. For Butler, Shelvin Mack has not played in a while because of cramping. Andrew Smith has not played in a long while because of a possible concussion. We've had players foul out on both sides. For most of the afternoon, this game was back and forth. The lead kept trading hands. But since about the 12-minute mark, 11-minute mark maybe here in the second half, Duke's pulled away a bit.
Well, it's really been remarkable. This team has been able to stick with Duke, having Shelvin Mack out for basically the whole second half. They're in the 2-3 zone extended right now. Van Zandt picks up the foul near midcourt.
And 2 free throws coming. That's the 10th foul. So 2 free throws the rest of the way for Duke. Brad Stevens probably upset not only with the foul, but also with the fact that his team, Jay, is only 7 for 16 from the free throw line. And a cheer goes up among the Duke fans because Kyrie Irving is coming back to the scorer's table.
You have to expect a team like Butler that held 5 of its 6 opponents in the NCAA tournament last year to under 60 points. You know, this year's team hadn't been able to do that quite as effectively. I mean, it's a different team. It's not quite as athletic at some spots as it was last year. So it's going to be a little bit of a different dynamic for this team. But throughout the course of the year, I think Butler is going to continue to get better. Now, they were 8-4 after 12 games last year. Nobody's talking about the Final Four at this point in the season last year for Butler.
Seth Curry with a steal, and he calls a timeout. Well, we talked about how Duke Earlier this year against Marquette, Kansas State, Michigan State, they have pulled away in the second half. Jay, they did the same thing here today.
Well, they just have so many weapons. You know, Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler have proven to be All-America caliber players, and Andre Dawkins, an improved player that is a weapon off the bench, scoring in double figures. And Mason Plumlee has continued to get better. He is the leading rebounder, leading shot blocker. Gets steals at 5 steals against Michigan State. It's just a team with a ton of weapons, and that doesn't include Seth Curry, who, bringing off the bench, Seth Curry has been struggling from the field, but he's got the ability to knock shots down.
You know, for Duke, this has been quite a run they've been on, playing in Kansas City, then playing Michigan State, then playing Butler here today. They go home to play Bradley Wednesday on ESPN2, then St. Louis. That's the game that makes Mike Krzyzewski's a little bit wary of that game with St. Louis. And then you can see eventually getting into the ACC schedule after the new year. Let's talk a little bit about the ACC. I asked you on the car ride on the way over today, where you did a great job not getting us lost here, by the way. This was absolutely phenomenal. The odds makers take a beating again. Who's the second best team in the ACC? Are there any challengers? You know, last year Maryland shared the title. Are there any challengers in the ACC to Duke this year?
I think the short answer to that is no. There aren't any challengers to win the league. What I think you're going to see is that I think North Carolina is the second best team, and I think they're going to continue to improve. I think Roy Williams has got a team that's tougher this year than it was last year. It's got more talent. It's not quite as deep as perhaps he would like, having the Ware twins having transferred out to UCLA. But I think Duke is going to face everybody's best. They're going to have everybody's best foot forward when they play them. So they're going to get the best shots of opponents. And I think somebody's going to get them throughout the course of league play. I don't think the ACC is anywhere near as good as it's been in the past several years.
Well, the Big East is very strong again. The Big Ten,
I think the best
is very strong.
I think the best league is the Big Ten. Yeah. At the top, it is the best league. I think it's got 7 NCAA tournament teams potentially in that league.
So Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, Illinois, who we're going to see next against Gonzaga. That's the game right after us here today on ESPN. I know you've been very impressed with the Illini this year.
They've been outstanding, and they're doing a much better job defensively. They've got weapons. They're getting more physical, and they've got one of the best point guards in the country in Dimitri McCamey.
Matt Howard fouls out. And for Howard today, he'll play about 24 minutes in this game. Again, limited, as he was against Duke in the championship game last year, as he was through much of the NCAA tournament in the regular season last year by foul trouble.
You know, we were talking, Dan, about the couple of those offensive rebounds he went after. And you know, you might want to say, well, hey, he's going after the ball. Well, that's true. He was, and you give him a tremendous amount of credit for that, the heart and the will and determination to go after the ball. But if by not going after that one ball that picked him up that foul, he stays in the game and plays 8 extra minutes and gets 4 more rebounds because of that, tell me that's not a better result than going after that one particular ball. He's got to be able to make that assessment that, you know what, it's too risky for me to go after this particular ball. I'll get more rebounds if I let that one go.
And as you say, he's a senior. He's an academic All-American. He's a bright kid. He's well coached. It's just something that has been plaguing him over the last year and a half.
Well, that kid's got a fire stoked in him. And I think it's really hard as a coach to tell your player, hey, listen, dial it down a notch, son, because it's his nature to go after it. It's in his DNA.
Oh! 1 of 2 for Curry. Into the game now for Butler, number 20, Krishan Hopkins, a freshman out of Indianapolis that Brad Stevens and the program had some very high hopes for. Into the final 2 minutes. Here with the Izod Center in East Rutherford. Tough running layup by Van Zandt, who has really had a magnificent second half.
Van Zandt has attacked. And Butler going to try to extend this game, make Duke prove it from the free throw line.
Well, this is a building. It doesn't host the Nets and the Devils like it used to, or Seton Hall like it used to. But you're looking at a man right there. That's Danny Fishbane. He is the official scorer here for college basketball games in this building. There have been 522 college basketball games played in this building. Danny Fishbane has been the official scorer for every one of them. So he's the, I guess, the Cal Ripken of New Jersey official scores.
He's seen a lot of good games in this building. Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, Shelvin Mack, those 3 guys played a ton of basketball this summer. A lot of guys work on their games during the summer, but they were at just about every camp that was held, including USA Basketball on the U.S. men's select team that trained against the World Championships team.
Van Zandt the miss. Andrew Smith back into the game after they were checking him for a possible concussion earlier this half, and he draws the foul. For Butler, we asked Brad Stevens this morning, what do you got next? Oh, he goes, oh, no problem. Going to Xavier. Another tough game, but Butler, of course, out of their league, they want as many tough games as they can get. They've got Stanford coming up. They've got Utah coming up. They already went to Louisville, and they want to test themselves early and often.
And they always play a difficult schedule. It gets them prepared, and they step into the Horizon League. And heck, Cleveland State, coached by Gary Waters, is 9-0 in the Horizon League. Got a great guard named Norris Cole, who's averaging about 22 points per game and get his shot whenever he wants. And that's one of the things Brad Stevens was talking about at the shoot-around today. There are a lot of guards in the Horizon League who can get their own shot. And playing against that kind of slate in that league is really going to help them prepare for the NCAA tournament. Butler will be in the NCAA tournament.
Whether they win their league or not?
I think so.
Another foul. This one on Van Zandt. Now a minute 22 to go. Out the line, Kyrie Irving, who has put up another big day. It started slowly for him over about the first 15-16 minutes of the game. And that is his 20th point of the game.
One time, fellas. Well, you are some kind of player when you can get a bagel in one half and cross the 20-point mark in the other. This young man's got the complete package. He's got a great demeanor on the court. Nothing seems to bother him. He looks like he's playing with turf toe right now, and he doesn't change his expression.
Very soft-spoken, well-mannered young man, too, if you bump into him at shoot-around. The three for Grant Leyendecker.
We've got so many handlers in the ball game. They're a hard team to press because essentially Nolan Smith is a point guard, as is Irving. And both Dawkins and Curry not only can shoot it, but can handle it a little bit as well.
Smith will go to the line. Duke is #1 in the nation right now, unbeaten at 7-0. And a look at the rest of the top 10. And we'll see Kansas next week in the Jimmy V against Memphis, and 2 top 10 teams, Syracuse and Michigan State, will play against one another. And there's Connecticut, unranked at the beginning of the season, but Kemba Walker having that incredible run that he's had, and them winning out of Maui, where you saw all of their games, and they've moved up into 9th.
Only one ACC team in the top 25. Really remarkable when you think about it. And of the teams that I have seen this year, the 4 best are Duke, Ohio State, Kansas, and Michigan State. I would not be surprised one bit to see those 4 teams in Houston.
A turnover. Nolan Smith comes up with a loose ball. And he'll have a chance to pad his stats. Ohio State's got some weapons.
Ohio State scores it really, really easy. And if they defend, they've got a great opportunity.
Mike Krzyzewski with the win here today will tie Adolph Rupp for 3rd all-time. Most wins, men's Division I history. Just a couple of weeks away from tying and then moving past Dean Smith. And again, if they have a deep, deep run into the NCAA tournament and maybe cut down the nets again, this time at Houston, he could pass Bob Knight this year for the most wins in men's Division I history.
That's not the most amazing thing, though. Of all the things in his career that have amazed me the most, it's that his hair has never changed color.
You never would have said that about him when you were playing for him.
Well, no, he had playing time over me, lord over. But I find it remarkable. Billy King, who's the GM of the New Jersey Nets, was at the practice facility where Duke practiced yesterday, and we were standing there, and Billy King is now bald. I am now bald, and Mike Krzyzewski has the same hair and hair color he had in 1979.
You might have thought just him playing for you would have been enough to make him go bald. Or you playing for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, Van Zandt the off-balance shot. Duke emptying the bench here in the last couple of minutes.
This is a terrific basketball team that is fully capable of winning this thing again.
After some ragged play, Leyendecker will go to the line and shoot 2.
Hey, things didn't really go Butler's way in this game. They're certainly playing against a great basketball team, but they kept fighting. And even though it's a 14-point spread, this game was a lot closer. I mean, it was a one-possession game when Norred picked up his 4th and when Mack went out of the game.
Yeah, they went on a 12-0 run. Duke did in a minute and 17 seconds after that moment.
That's the most important player on this team right there, Ronald Norred.
So Butler's going to drop to 4-3, but as Jay mentioned, they were 8-4 last year, and they weren't playing their best basketball at this time last year. Then they went on a 25-game winning streak, only losing in the national championship game by 2 to these very same Duke Blue Devils. Shot clock turned off, final seconds ticking away. Duke's come up to New Jersey and picked up another win. They beat Butler 82-70, and the unbeaten Blue Devils go to 8-0 on the season. A big second half for Kyrie Irving, a big game for Nolan Smith. And the Blue Devils are 8-0. Butler drops to 4-3 as the Blue Devils beat the Bulldogs 82-70 here at the Izod Center. Jay Billis, Doris Burke, and our crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Illinois, Gonzaga coming up. We send you to Terry Gannon and Stephen Barno in Seattle.
Dan, thank you very much. And just underway here at Key Arena, the former home of the Sonics.